Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for the 2020-2021 Premier League preview. And as you can see, I'm joined by channel regular Richard. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Looking forward to the big kick-off tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. And again, we're kicking up for once. It's good to see my team starting the season.
We've got a chance to be top, haven't we? At least for a couple of hours, anyway.
For a couple of hours.
Might be the only time we're top all season, so we need to make the most of it. Although we've got to at least get a draw to be top, haven't we? So
yeah. And obviously, Daniel, who's the main United fan, he is on his way. As soon as he comes in, I'll put him into the stream. And also got Everton fan, and who also was only a few weeks ago. Rose, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you.
So, already got a sport gossip saying 1-1 he thinks for tomorrow's game. Okay.
We'll brush over that.
No, obviously, the eve of the new season is upon us. Not even 24 hours left, because obviously 12:30 kick-off as well. And as Richard alluded to, we're the first team to kick off the whole season for the first time in about 3-4 years since the last time we kicked off a season.
It was that Leicester game, wasn't it, on a Friday night?
Yeah.
We were top of the league then, weren't we, for a few hours? That was nice.
Yeah, for 24 hours, and then literally everyone else got clean sheets. We lasted longer because he did less goals that night. But we'll start with obviously the neutral on the channel. Rose, how are you feeling going into this new season?
Pretty excited. I mean, I'm going in with no expectations because it's not. I feel like with Everton, it's not an overnight one transfer window that we're going to, challenge where we want to be. But I think, a real positive for me is just a transformation in midfield, getting those three players in, James, Allen and Doucouré, from going from a really slow, boring, horrible midfield, I think we could have a really exciting one. So, yeah, hoping that, we can finish in the top half at least next season. What about you?
With Everton, with the signings you've made as well, as you've alluded to backstage, James Rodriguez, Allen and Doucouré, that's the midfield. Already you strengthened there. The one, obviously the window's still open until 5th of October, so you've still got time to improve. But the one thing I'd have touched on, as you know, is goalkeeper. If you sort that out, in my predictions the other day, I had Everton in 6th or 7th. No, I think now. The Europa League spot, basically, either 6th or 7th I had. But yeah, Pickford's the one. He's the weak link now. Let's be honest. You've got Calvert-Lewin who's come through and seems to like him. You've got midfield. You've got your midfield sorted. You've got some squad players in like Walcott. Obviously, he's aged, but he's someone to have around experience-wise in the Premier League. Your defense is better.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's not fantastic, but you can obviously there's improvements you can make there. It's not like Arsenal. Not everything's going to be done in just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, goalkeeper, that's the one for me because he's not. I think we've touched on, even you alluded to, he's sort of riding off the back of the World Cup, and it's getting annoying now. He's going backwards. It must be frustrating. Yeah. The money you paid out for 50 mil for Pickford when he came from Sunderland. He's gone backwards.
I've just got the live chat on. So is it Sport Gossip saying the link that I mentioned? Yeah, so Romero. I think Romero on loan or even on a permanent, I'd snap your hand off just because Argentina, he's experienced. It just needs somebody steady. We don't need anybody great, just somebody who's not going to make a mistake. But Pickford's made so many mistakes, in derbies and just generally. And it just worries me whenever we concede a set piece or anything. So yeah, you're absolutely right. What about your expectations for the upcoming season?
As I got a bit stick for during my live stream, I said, assuming, because obviously the window's still open, assuming we buy either Partey or Aurier from Lyon, one of them two, if not both. But if we get both, it's top four solidified, in my opinion, because suddenly we've got a DM in Partey who will do the job like he wouldn't. He is someone we've needed for years. He is literally a Vieira-like player. if not better. And Aurier gives us the creativity. I mean, we do need creativity. Again, like you wouldn't believe. And even if we've got one of them, that gives us more. I think that gives us more of a chance. And I think on paper, squad-wise, with experience and the players and the non-experienced sort of players we've got and players we've just brought in, we have got a genuine chance of top four. And compared to teams that haven't really strengthened, you've got Man United have bought Donny van der Beek. When they've already got Pogba and Bruno Fernandes ahead of him. So really, they spent 40 million on the players going to be on the bench most of the season until one of them gets injured so they can then earn his spot. Apart from that, they're saying they want Sancho, but they won't put a bid in for him. So they're not really strengthening, whereas we're actually strengthening. And realistically, also with Arteta, from the second, there's a Premier League put a thing out just for the end of just after the season finished, where from the day he walked in, like from the Bournemouth game, when he took charge for the end, all the way to Watford. If the season started from that Bournemouth game, and then obviously we would have been, after the Watford game, third or fourth in the league. And that's only half a season. So all these stats like League Gun and all that, and they always have a whinge, and it does my fucking loafing. I mean, the guys literally. I'll get onto him in a bit, but yeah, I think genuinely a third, if not, it'll be a close third, fourth.
Yeah. Arteta, what I always think is one of his strengths is man management, isn't it? I mean, the fact that Aubameyang stayed and Saka signed the new contract.
Martinelli as well.
And players that were looking like they were uncertain if they were going to stay at Arsenal, but I mean, Aubameyang, he'll just give you. I always say when Arsenal do well, Aubameyang's probably on the score sheet at least one. So, yeah, no, it's an exciting time, and also your centre backs as well, like Gabriel, who we were linked with a lot, and then you guys got him. I think he'll be a good addition, and then it's Gabriel. Oh, and Saliba, because he's back, isn't he? Yeah. So I think if you can sort out the defence, your attack's always going to get goals. So, yeah.
Well, it's also. As Richard has touched on in previous shows throughout the last few months, sorting out the midfield as well, having some sort of protection in the midfield, because you could have the best defence in the world. The midfield ain't protecting, then the attack come through you like water. Basically, we're going to concede goals and look crap. Yeah, and that's why I think with Partey, that would be fantastic if we can put him off. But if we have to wait a few more months or see out the season, whatever. But people need to remember that the window doesn't close until the 5th of October. Always having a go at Edu. Was it Lee Gunn having a go at Edu last night? Oh, he said 7 weeks he ain't done nothing. 7 weeks. we're in a coronavirus world where not most of the top clubs in Europe haven't done any business yet. Yeah, Chelsea have, because they've had the money from last year and they can be aggressive like that. I said months ago, the only teams that won't be affected realistically by this are your Chelsea, Man United and City. Man United don't spend and being aggressive because they're trying to play on it's COVID. We don't want to be seen as, well, people are out of jobs and we're throwing money at this, like 100 mil for one player. But then three clubs are the ones that won't be affected by, in general, won't be affected because of what they are.
Yeah.
And it's proved it. Barcelona ain't bought no one. PSG, Bayern Munich, they ain't going out breaking the bank. Everyone knows the time limit, so they're taking their time. And things like the Partey deal will, if it does happen, will go down to the last few days, if not the last day itself.
Yeah.
But and also, with Lee Gunnar, another argument I had with him last night, he was saying, he says in his streams, I want to win titles, I want to win this. And then, as a dig, because Arteta said, and it's public knowledge now that Arteta said he wants to win a Champions League in 3 years. What do you want? Do you want ambition or don't want an ambition? Make your mind up, please, because it does not. So how hypocritical can you be in one sentence? I want to win titles. My manager wants to win titles. He better do it quick because I'll be on his back within 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's definitely patience.
And that's all it is. And that's what I've tried. And that's from my perspective, and I know Richard as well, and others that I've had on the channel. We are being patient. We've seen the progress with Arteta, with the squad he inherited. Because, in January he brought in Mari and Cedric Soares, but they were injured. And then because of COVID, Mari only played one full game one and a bit games because obviously the Man City game got injured. Cedric has been injured most of it. So majority of the season, he's had to work with what he inherited. And look what he's done. We didn't finish high in the league, obviously, because it is what it is. We was in an impossible position to get top 4 in the first place. So to get, finish 8th, it weren't great. But to then go a week later and win an FA Cup final, come from behind as well, and that mentality of 8th in the cup isn't good enough, but it's progress. It's not progress, but it's a step in the right direction in terms of silverware and that winning mentality. Because from day one, he's always said, I want to install a winning mentality back into this club. Because since he's left, he's had more of a outsider's looking in his perspective, and he said it isn't the club that obviously he grew up idolising when he was a player in terms of their competitiveness. And the players respect him. The fact that as you've touched on before, Martinelli literally a year from signing extends his contract even longer to what it was before, and then Saka was bought into it. He's on a new deal. And it looks like any moment now we're going to hear from Aubameyang at some point. He's on a new 3-year contract. Players are buying into his ideology, and he's and what he wants going forward. And you hear the players like Kieran Tierney have just come in, and how when they hear him say how much he prefers certain players that can take him forward in the long term for the long term future, like Kieran Tierney. Well, there's a thing that Ian Wright put out today for Adidas, where Kieran Tierney said, when I heard that Arteta was raving about me with you, Ian, I thrived off that. That gave me such a buzz and such confidence. So when obviously the new season starts, we saw how good Kieran was.
Yeah.
These are all positive things. Yes, there is deadwood in this club. Yes, it's going to take time. And another reason why it's taking long to get some of this deadwood out of the club as we speak is because the likes of Ivan Gazidis and Raul, when they've come in, more so Ivan, when these players come in, they're putting these average players straight away without even proving themselves on stupidly high wages. And then when a club does come in, for example, El Nene, who I think it was Besiktas wanted to buy him, but they couldn't afford his wages and he wouldn't take a pay cut. The only one that we could get off our books at the moment, Deadwood-wise, is Mkhitaryan. That's because there was a club interested in him. They didn't want to pay a fee. He was in the last year of his contract, but he was prepared to take a pay cut. So we met, I think, everyone halfway, terminated his contract. So we got 200k off. But no one else, it seems, at the Deadwood seems to want to do that. So it's making our job 10 times harder. We've heard publicly as well, Mesut Ozil come out and say, I'll decide when I leave, not the club. So it's that player power thing as well. It's literally because they're on high wages, it's too comfortable for them. No one else can afford 350k for a bang average player. When I say bang average as well, I mean in terms of the performance levels for the money he's been on. When he does play, consistent wise, he hasn't been at that level. Skill wise and on paper, Ozil should be. He is worth that sort of money, you'd think, on paper, but he hasn't performed. There's no getting around it. And he got the injuries, the back spasms, and it's just falling out of the club basically. And the club have had enough, and they're trying to get him out. But
we've got the exact same problem, I'd say, as well. Like we've had that with Steve Walsh when he came in and he put like Balassi on 70k and Sigurdsson on 100k. So if you are these players, and some, like, I don't want to defend them, but you know what? Why would you leave? And Palace might be offering 40k to Balassi, and you're saying, well, no, I've got a year left here. I'll take my 70k a week, and then next I'll come in as a free transfer. So yeah, I feel you there. Like we've got a lot of deadwood as well, and just average players on massive wages. I think Bernard, who's okay, but he's on 120k a week, and it's mad. So we're kind of paying for that as well, and So I get what you've just said.
The main frustration is that certain fans don't get that transfers and sales and getting people off the books takes time. It's going to take time, especially as you said, players have more power these days. So they are going to dictate if they stay or leave, and they'd rather run down their contract. We've got a year left, run down the contract, and then leave for free and get who's signing on fee for it. Yeah, what they would do for going for a certain fee. a year prior. So it's just it is frustrating. But certain fans just need to use their head for once. Just use some common sense. Richard, obviously, you haven't heard much from you for the last few minutes, so obviously you're looking forward to the new season.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to actually. I seem perhaps a little bit more excited about Everton's prospects than Rose does. Actually, with the players inside, with Ancelotti as manager, I don't see any reason. I think Everton might be dark horses actually this season. Obviously, I'm not saying they're going to win the league or anything, but certainly challenging in the top six. I think Everton have definitely got a massive chance with the signings, and I say with a really experienced manager who knows how to win. So
yeah.
If I was an Everton fan, I'd actually be really excited about this season, actually, because I feel as though they've done everything right this summer, haven't they? I mean, some of them signings. I mean, Decore would have been fantastic for Arsenal. So I'm actually jealous that Everton have signed him because I've been on about us signing him for about a year and a half now, and I'm actually disappointed that we didn't get him. So I think that's a great signing, Premier League experience. Rodriguez, I'm not 100% sure about him. I think he's a bit of a fancy Dan who's come for the money and he just wants to play in the Premier League. I'm not sure about him. Is he going to fancy it when it's a freezing cold night at Burnley or something like that? I don't know. Potentially he's a good player, don't get me wrong. But I do think some of the other signings Everton's made have been good. And I think Ancelotti's a good manager. I mean, I would have took him at Arsenal back when we had Emery. So I actually think Everton will do well this season. I think top six is within the possibilities, without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm a little bit jealous of some of their signings, I've got to be honest. But from our point of view, I think we're going to have potentially a good season as well. I think we've got a great manager as well. Obviously, he's proved himself already. He's been promoted already at the club. He's only been there 6 months. And they've given a promotion already, so it shows how much confidence they've got in him as well, which is great. Yes, some of the transfers we haven't got over the line yet, a little bit frustrating. But having listened to a press conference and stuff today, we've got to understand that with the COVID situation, not all these deals are going to be able to be as smooth as they might have been previously. Some clubs are in a better position. Maybe Everton have, say, spent some money, Chelsea have spent a lot of money and stuff like that, but other clubs are going to find it more difficult. And it's not only just what we want to do as our club, it's what other clubs can do as well. So if we want to buy a player, they're going to be a lot more maybe wanting more money or wanting a better deal now than they might have done last year or they might do in the future because of the situation that everybody's in. And people can't buy or people aren't buying our players probably because we now need to get more money for them than perhaps they're worth. We've already turned down bids, haven't we, for several of our players because there's not high enough bid. Well, really, are they worth that much? Maybe not, but that's the market that we're in. And unfortunately, every club's going to have to adapt to that. And it might so turn out to be that this transfer window doesn't go as a lot of clubs were hoping it would because of the situation that we're in. And we might just have to say, right, do what you can get done. So far we've got a couple of good signings in, which is great. Everton have got a lot more good signings in, which is great for them. And I think maybe if nothing else can happen between now and the end for anybody, we just need to accept that and maybe then hope in January, or if there's another transfer window in January, I don't know if there will be because it seems a bit close. But anyway, when the next transfer window is, hopefully the situation might be different and maybe more deals can get done, or maybe wait till next summer. But I think this season is the same for everybody. And I'm not going to pin my hopes on who we might buy or who we might not buy. If we can get Thomas Partey in as an example, that'd be brilliant. I'll be over the moon with that. And I think that could take us to another level. If we can't get him because we can't get the deal done because of the situation, then we're going to have to work with what we've got. My confidence is we've got a coach who can get the most out of what we've got. If that means if the most out of these players is getting in the top four, then that's what we'll do. If they're not good enough to be that high, even being coached, then we'll have to accept that, won't we? And then we know that next year we're going to have to improve it. But I'm confident that we can do well. I mean, Arteta's done a great job so far, hasn't he? I mean, far beyond any of our expectations, if we're honest. Let's be fair. I mean, he clearly was the brains behind Manchester City's success. It's no coincidence that since he left, they've gone rapidly downhill and we've massively improved. And there's only one reason that can possibly be down to. We've done really well to get Arteta, and I'm delighted that he's with us now, and I'm delighted that the club are putting this trust in him to basically sort out the transfers of players that he wants. Now he's got control of that, which he didn't have before. Emery didn't have before him, and suddenly now they've given him the same kind of power that Wenger had when he was there. Yeah. So that shows how much they respect him and how much they trust him. So us as fans have got to do the same. Now we can go on about transfers all day if we like. It doesn't matter, does it? Because we don't control that. There's 100 players I could list that I'd like us to buy. But it doesn't make a difference what I want. It doesn't make a difference what you want. What it matters is what the club can do, what money they've got, and what the other club is prepared to accept, and whether or not we can do deals with them. That's what people like Raul, that's their job at the moment. It's Vinay's job and Edu's job to do that. You know, they've got to get deals done if we can, and if we can get them done, we will. If we can't get them done, we won't be able to, and we'll just have to go into the season with what we've got. But it's going to be the same for everybody, and this season is going to be a strange season anyway. No pre-season properly for anyone. Such a short turnover. We've just had international break. Players have been flying around all over the place to play international games when they should have been preparing with their clubs. So nobody's going to be starting the season particularly well. I think there's going to be drop points everywhere. And I just think it's going to be that sort of a season. Anybody could win the league, actually. There's probably 6 or 7 teams, realistically, have got a chance this year. They may not normally have had, but this season, with the way it is, I think they have. I think more teams have got a chance of winning the league, and we could be included in that. If we can make a couple more signings, we could do a Leicester. Everton could do a Leicester. You know, somebody could do a Leicester this season. Wolves, maybe. You know, somebody like unexpected who know at this point in time, someone who's maybe 150 at one with the bookies to win the league. One of those teams could win it this year, just because of the way the season. It's going to be the weirdest season I think we've ever seen, and it'll be even more weird in that Leicester season. It could be. With the way it's going, the way it's heading, and at this moment in time, let's be fair, we don't even know if the season's going to finish yet, do we? Because the situation seems to be getting worse in terms of the whole lockdown we had. And if we head back into that in the new year, so up to Christmas, the season might get written off. We might not even finish it, because apparently they've got to play half of it to even talk about finishing it or having some conclusion to it. Are we going to get to halfway? I don't know. At the moment, it's hard to say. So it could be we're getting all excited for the season, and it might just be a season that we play 10 games and that's it. And hopefully, if we're top of the league after 10 games, give us the title.
Yeah.
And forget, we're top after 10 games, that's the finish. Whoever's top then should win the league. You know, if it's Brighton, whoever it is, after 10 games, if we have to finish the season, they should win the league. Hopefully it'll be us or Everton. It's not Tottenham. Then we'll have to change. It won't be winning, because they're not going to be top of the league, are they? So we don't need to worry about that. But no, I mean, I'm excited about the season. I'm just concerned about how it's going to, if it's even going to finish at this point. I've got to be honest. We don't know. I just want to just about a little bit of perspective, right? In Arsenal's first 100 years of being in existence, we only won 14 major trophies in 100 years, right? In the last 34 years since then, we won 17. So we've become very spoiled as a fan base, right? We expect to win trophies because in the last 34 years, we won 17. That's a trophy every other year on average. It hasn't quite worked that way, but on average, that's what it's been, which is pretty good. That's probably our most successful 30 years we've ever had in our history of the club. So we're lucky, all of us that have experienced that for any degree, either all of it or part of it. We've been lucky, right? We've experienced some of the greatest moments in Arsenal's history, 134-year history, and we've experienced most of the best moments have been in our lifetime as a fan, right? So we should be lucky. And if we don't, I'm not bothered personally if we don't win another trophy. It's nice if we do. I've seen us win everything pretty much, and nothing can really top that. I just want to see us do progress and be competitive. If we win a trophy, brilliant. If we win the league, that'd be amazing. If we won the Champions League at some point, brilliant. But I'm not going to live my life thinking, well, it's not a success if we don't win something, because, you know, our history shows that we're not a Man United or we're not a Liverpool. We haven't had spells where we've won loads and loads of trophies in a row like they have. They're on a different level. And, you know, we're Arsenal. We need to compare ourselves with us as we are as a club. You know, and if we're winning trophies every few years, which we have been, that's great. We shouldn't expect any more than that. Certainly now in the financial situation with clubs that we can't compete with financially, absolutely no chance. We can't. And we need to accept that. So every trophy that we now win, winning the FA Cup last season, was probably one of the greatest achievements in the history of the club. When you think about where we were and you think about where we are in relation to other clubs financially, for us to win that trophy, beating Man City in the semi-final, beating Chelsea in the final, that's probably one of our greatest achievements in the history of the club. And Arteta did that in such a short space of time with the team that we had. The team that were like, 12th, 13th in the league at Christmas when he came wherever he was. To turn that around and win that FA Cup like that. You know, and to me, I enjoyed that as much as I've enjoyed pretty much anything else that we've won, because of how unexpected it was and how the turnaround was. And you know what I mean? And if we progress this season, if we progress from that, I don't care if we end the season with no trophies, for example. It's hard to win a trophy. Let's be honest. It's hard to win anything. If we finish the season without a trophy, but we've seen this progression that we've had in the last 6 months continue, and we've ended the season in a better position than we ended this one, whether we've won a trophy or not is irrelevant. So all these people that say, we have to win a trophy, if we don't win the league or we don't get top 4, let's just progress this season, and that's all. If we do that, we're heading in the right direction, aren't we? And eventually, hopefully, we can get back to where we all want us to be. You know, we all want to be top of the league every week, don't we? Of course we do. That's why we're football fans, because it's all about winning trophies at the end. That's what it's about. But we shouldn't expect it because it's so difficult to do, especially for clubs that don't have that financial kind of, I suppose, the financial backing that certain other clubs have had over the last 10, 15 years, which has made it harder, hasn't it? So I just think we just need to get a little bit of perspective where we are. I mean, Everton probably in a little bit of a worse situation in the sense that they've been historically a successful club like Arsenal, won a lot of trophies, but a lot of them have been, unfortunately, quite a long time ago now. And has quite been, you know, I mean, I can remember in the 80s, mid 80s, when Everton were a great side, they won the league a couple of times, and that side that won the European trophy were a brilliant side. You know, that Everton were a great side then. Unfortunately, now they're not quite that good, but again, it's about progressing and getting forward. And with the signings Everton have made now, the manager that they've got, there's a chance that Everton can get back and be challenging again like they were 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whenever it was, you know. And that's all you can hope for, isn't it? I think.
I mean, I take finishing anywhere in the top 10 but a trophy. Like for me, like it's a debate amongst our fans of, you know, do you want top 6 or would you take top 10, like to finish 10th in a trophy? A trophy for me, like, you know, it's just been far too long, like you say. And I mean, we could finish 11th, but if we win the FA Cup, I wouldn't care. Like, it's just, you know. So for me, I think that's, you know,
winning the trophy does make up. I mean, like last season, winning the FA Cup made up for a lot of the absolute dross that we had to suffer and all the problems we had to suffer through the whole season, certainly the first half of the season in particular. And it makes up for it because you've got something at the end of it, and it is nice. Don't get me wrong, and it's what we're all here for. You know, you want to see. There's nothing better than seeing your captain lift a trophy, whatever trophy it is. If it's a League Cup, the FA Cup, you know, if it's, you know, you've won a 5-a-side tournament, you know, if you've got a trophy at the end of it, that's what football's about, isn't it? Realistically, but there's only 1 or 2, 3 teams that can realistically win anything. And if you happen to be one of them, you've got to be grateful, not assume that's what you should always be doing. You've got to be grateful that you've managed to win it and enjoy it and appreciate it for what it is, because it's hard. You know, Liverpool won the league. It took them 30 years to win the league. Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in the world. It took them 30 years to win the Premier League, and we're moaning because we haven't got in the top 4 for 5 years. They didn't win the league for 30 years. Man United went 26 years without winning the league. You know, Everton have gone, what, they must have gone 30 odd years more than that without winning the league.
40 probably.
Newcastle have got 50 years without winning anything. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to win trophies. It's hard. But big clubs struggle to win trophies, you know, and that's unfortunately the way it is. People say, well, Leicester won the league. But it can happen.
Seen that comment, sorry.
It can happen, and it might well happen again, as I said. But, you know, I just think people just need to get a little bit more perspective in the whole situation. And that's, unfortunately, we're in a situation now where we can't take anything for granted in terms of winning trophies, because that's not where we are anymore. We were 15 years ago when we had Thierry Henry and all those great players, and we're not anymore. And that's, you know, it's a cycle, isn't it? Well, hopefully we're on the way back up again, but we'll see. I mean, for me, anything that's a progression on last season in terms of if we finish higher than 8th in the league, but not anywhere we finished, if we're playing better, we're not getting turned over 5-0 against Liverpool and the stuff that we've suffered before. If we're progressing, in, you know, throughout the season, we're showing more consistency. And if we finish 7th or 6th or 5th, then that's fine. But if we're showing that progression, if maybe 2 years ago under Emery, when we should have finished higher because, you know, we blew it at the end, then you're going to be disappointed because that's not progression, is it? But let's see where we go. But at the moment, I'm excited. And I feel as though there's 3 or 4 teams this year that are going to surprise people in the Premier League. I think we're one of them. I think Everton could be another one. And maybe someone like Wolves as well. I think they could be another surprise package this season.
Definitely.
Another surprise could be Tottenham getting relegated. That'd be funny.
That'd be fantastic, let's be honest. But yeah, before we introduce Daniel, sports gossip in the chat saying Spurs lifted the Audi Cup with Poch.
Yes, they did.
Didn't know that made a trophy.
They've won in about 12 years. So well done.
Oh, dear.
Where does the Audi Cup compare to the Community Shield?
Well, in the Community Shield, you've got to win something to be in it, haven't you?
Exactly.
Invitation, isn't it? You just need an invitation. It's like a birthday party. That's all it is. It's like winning a raffle. That's what it is. They got invited in and they won it. Fair play to them. But we actually won a trophy. Community Shield, and then we actually beat the league champions in it as well. So, you know, I don't think you can compare it, really, can you?
No. And also going to that Community Shield match, they went full strength. Apart from Henderson, that was their full strength 11, pretty much. We had a mixed match of our first team second up.
You know, many players not played for about on a bit, has he? For Arsenal? We had him
Exactly.
any team and we still beat him.
Yeah, exactly. And tactically, Arteta pulled off an absolute masterstroke against Klopp again.
Which he's done. He did it against Pep in the semi-final. He did it against Lampard in the final. He's done it twice against Klopp already. The guy's a genius, isn't he? He's an absolute genius. And I said this before, right? If we'd got Pep as our manager in December instead of Arteta, we'd got Pep instead. There's no way the improvements we would have seen at the same level that we've seen under Arteta, because Pep.
Whoa. What have I walked into here? What stream have I come into? Am I in the Twilight Zone? What's going on? Arteta a genius already.
Yeah,
genius.
Wow. Well, you compare. If you look at the performances Emery was getting with that sack, because I touched on earlier with Arteta. Apart from the two signings he signed in January, who were both injured, by the way, and didn't play hardly any games anyway. So the majority of the time, that the end of that season, including obviously the restart and all that, was the team he inherited. Yeah. And performances-wise, were far better under Arteta than we saw initially in the first half of the season under Emery. We were defending under Arteta. We were defending as one. We're hard to beat suddenly. And we're
it's not suddenly. It's not suddenly. Arteta sets up the team
that's what I'm saying.
Well.
That's what I'm saying.
It's one thing. But if you notice, he gets your players to defend in numbers because he knows that's the only way they can defend. And I think that there's a limit to how much Arteta can mitigate your defensive deficiencies, to be honest with you.
Hasn't he? That's if Pep had come in December, right, what Pep would have done is Pep would have tried to get us, a bit like what Emery did, tried to get us to play a certain way when the players wasn't able to do it. What Arteta did, he adapted his style. He said, right, I don't care how I want us to play. I'm going to get the best out of my players. He was the one who improved Raheem Sterling, let's not forget. Right? He's good with improving players, understanding what players need to improve on the pitch. And that's what he did at Man City. That's why they've not been as good since he went. And that's what he's done at Arsenal. And not only that, but he's proved tactically he can adapt to different games, different situations. He was brilliant against the big teams. Yes, he still needs a little bit of work on when we're playing teams that sit deep and we've got to attack them. But that's more to do with the personnel that we've got as opposed to his tactical issue. I think that tactically we set up well. We just don't have the players at this moment in time always to win those sort of games, but that will come. But what he's done to me has been remarkable. I don't think there's another coach that we could have got in, and everybody was reeling off all these names in December who we should have got, a list of people, big names, this, that and the other, right? Nobody could have come in and done the job Arteta's done in that time with that group of players. I don't think anyone could have done that. And for me, he's just the right man for the club. Not necessarily he's the best manager in the world. I'm not saying that. Maybe he's just the right man for our club at this time with these players. Maybe that's what it is. But no one else could have done that job. I'm convinced. Not Pep couldn't have. Nobody. I don't think Klopp could have come in and done that quickly. Not that quickly. You know, look at Ancelotti at Everton, right? They came at the same time, and I actually thought Everton would finish above us at that time. They got Ancelotti, experienced manager, won everything. We got a rookie manager in Arteta. You'd think, well, you know, what's going to happen here? Everton are bound to finish the season stronger than we are, but actually that didn't happen, did it? And Ancelotti will get it right because he knows how to win. He knows how to build a team, and he's already going about it. But what Arteta did in that time, no one else could have done that. I'm convinced no one else could have done that in that time and get what he's done. And hopefully he can push this forward into next season as well, because I've got 100% faith in him, and I hope he stays at Arsenal, for the next 50 years, because he's brilliant and I love him.
I like the way you put that when you said he's the right man for the right club, because far too often people just look at CVs without considering whether or not is this the right time to hire this particular manager. So one of the points I always make to Manchester United fans that wanted Pochettino was, I don't think these particular group of players want the added burden of being the guys to give Pochettino his first trophy. It's a thing that people don't consider. They struggle with the weight of Manchester United enough. If Poch comes in, is he going to win his first trophy? Is he going to win his first trophy? You know, we don't have that conversation with Oli in charge because we know it's a proper rebuild. And I think with Arteta, you've got a similar thing. You've got some Arsenal fans that, you know, they think some Arsenal fans don't rate him because, you know, it's just the FA Cup. Like, you know, like trophies don't count. But I think if you've got a bigger manager, the expectations rise too quickly and you end up basically taking one step forward just to take 3 steps backwards in the end, which you kind of did with Emery to an extent.
We tried as other channels. I've discussed on other channels as well, and on here we tried the experience route. It didn't work. So this, as Richard says, Why not start with a rebuild with someone with low expectations, lower the expectations, let them rebuild without the added pressure of, oh, we've got to win a trophy, got to win the league, got to win the European Cup.
The expectations are a bit higher now, I suppose, because of the way we finished the season and because winning the FA Cup and because winning a Community Shield as well and the way that we've improved. I think now the expectations for this season are higher than they were because of that reason, which is fine. That's what you'd expect. That's what you want, don't you? At the end of the day, if you're going to improve, you've got to understand the expectations are going to get higher. And if we have a good season this year, if we get in the Champions League, say we get in the top 4 this year, then the expectations next year are going to be even greater, aren't they? And that's what Arteta's got to live with. That's what the players have got to live with. And the ones that can't live with it will not be picked, and new players will come in. And the ones that can will grow and thrive, as they have done so far, to be fair. So many of our players have stepped up since Arteta came in. Players that you'd think wouldn't have a future at the club weren't good enough. They were being said wasn't good enough. They've proved themselves not only to be good enough, but, you know, a lot better than anybody ever thought they were. And one man's to the reason for that, and that's the coach, because the coach is the man that gets them to play, and that's the same at every single club. And if players don't play, it's not because they're not good. To be a professional footballer, you've got to be exceptional. To play at that level, you're an exceptional player. If you're not fitting into that team system, that's the coach's fault, you know, and that's the same at every club, I think. Because
what's been the issue with you guys away from home? Because I think you've only won 2 of your last away games. Like, what's not working with the way Arteta sets the team up away from home?
I think it's more of a inherited thing that he's inherited from Emery and then Wenger previous. That the players that obviously from both coaches and managers back then, it's sort of carried over, and he's had to deal with that as well as everything else.
Hasn't everybody?
It's taken longer. It's just taken a bit longer to sort out.
Apart from Man City and Liverpool, everybody else has struggled away from home for the last couple of seasons. It's not just Arsenal. If you look, I mean, Tottenham's away record's terrible. They finish in the top 6. I mean, Man United's away record hasn't been fantastic, has it? You know,
not fantastic. But again, I don't watch enough Arsenal games, so for me, like, I know as a United fan what our problems away from home are. I'm just why I was asking as an Arsenal fan, just sort of what do you think? Aside from the quality of your players, are you playing differently? Is Arteta setting up the team in a particular way that just doesn't work away from home as opposed to?
I don't think Arteta's away record's that bad, actually. When you look at it, I mean, we got that hammering at Man City, but that was his first away defeat, actually, and that was in obviously the first game after lockdown. And there was exceptional circumstances there with the sending off of David Luiz and a few other issues going on. After that, we lost to Brighton, which was a disappointment. We played all right that day. We just got unlucky in the last minute, conceded a silly goal. And then Aston Villa, they're only and Tottenham as well. But I mean, that's a London derby, I suppose. But our away record's not been that bad actually under Arteta compared to what it was like previously. I think he's improved it because he's made us more difficult to score against. But unfortunately, when Arsenal play, what tends to happen is that the other, unless we're playing a big team who will attack us, we're playing teams that are going to sit back. And unfortunately, we haven't had the players, the creativity in midfield to be able to break them down. And then you're always under pressure. If you don't score a goal in any game, when you're on top in possession, you always could concede a goal from a free kick or a set piece. And then suddenly you're under pressure, you commit more men forward and you concede another goal. And that's what happens, isn't it? And unfortunately, we haven't had the creativity to do it. I think Arteta's still learning. It is difficult to win away from home in the Premier League. You know, it's difficult to do. And, you know, we got a good away result. We got a good result away at Wolves. Not many teams win there. We went there with a great game plan, executed it perfectly, won that game. There's a few of Southampton, another game that we've always found difficult traditionally to win. We went away there with a game plan and won that game. So he got good results away from home towards the end of the season, Arteta did, and I think we can build on that. So I don't think his away record or performances were actually that bad in relation to what they were before and in relation to pretty much everybody else. I don't think so, and I think that it's improved, and that's the main thing. If it keeps improving, you know, eventually we'll go to somewhere like Man United and win again. We haven't won there for ages. Eventually we'll go to Liverpool and win again. And I think these are coming.
Eventually.
Eventually, no. I mean, when I say eventually, I mean in the next, either this season coming or the season after. We're going to start winning some of these games. We are. You could see last year when we played all the big teams towards the end of the season, we beat them all. Yes, they were at home or at Wembley, or whatever, but we still managed to beat them. And it's coming, isn't it? The away wins at these places are coming. You can see. It's all about organisation, isn't it? When you're away from home at a big side or anywhere, you've got to be organised. You've got to defend well. You've got to defend from the front, and you've got to have a plan. I mean, we're a great counter-attacking team, and unfortunately, most teams don't attack us enough. It's only the big teams that do. Liverpool, Man City, Man United, when we play at Old Trafford, will generally. They didn't last year, but generally they do. And we've got a way of dealing with that, which is great. We just now need to be able to find a way of beating a team like Fulham tomorrow. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes, because they're the sort of games away from home that we need to show that we can beat them. We can find a way to win them games, because that's how you win it. That's how Liverpool won the league. They found a way to win them away games, didn't they? Aston Villa last minute goal and stuff like that. And we need to find that way. And I think everybody does. If you're going to be successful, that's what you've got to do. That's what it comes down to, isn't it? You should win your home games, most of them. You've just got to pick up 7, 8, 9, 10 away wins somehow, haven't you, along the way.
But on the flip side of that, I think you're at home. The weakness you guys have in midfield might cost you at home. Because Arteta's clearly what he's done really well. He's got you guys defending really well, and he's finding a way to maximize Aubameyang, because we know Pepe is inconsistent, Lacazette's inconsistent. Is Martinelli going to be? Is he going to be fit for the start of the season?
He was not even going to be in training till December, January time. He won't have been training, so he probably won't play till February, March. Unfortunately, it's a big loss.
I think it's going to be. I think you guys are in for a roller coaster of a season. I think you're gonna get 3 wins on the bounce, then lose 2 back to back, then win, then lose. Then I think it's going to be an inconsistent season for you guys actually. But you'll see, and the key is you need to see the progress within that inconsistency, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes in football we worry about the result too much, when you need to actually, why did we lose that game? We lost. That's horrible. We never want to lose. But why did we lose? Was it the players? Was it Arteta? Are we going in the right direction? Can we put a run together? That type of thing.
I think in terms of defeats like the Brighton away game in the restart and the Villa near the end of the season, I think that's more down to player discipline, especially Brighton itself with Guendouzi, as it's well publicly known what he did there on the pitch while we're still playing a game, and then tried having a kick off after at full time, and try and play little mind games like, I earned this much, and then it turns out the person he's digging out earns more than him. Is them individual disciplines from individual players that are also costing us as well.
He's sorted a lot of those issues out, Arteta has. And I think the Villa game, we can dismiss that one, because we were preparing for the FA Cup final. They were fighting for their lives. We rested a few players. We just beat Liverpool, I think, wasn't it? Or the FA Cup final. One of them two was just before that. So I forget that. I don't count that really. I know we did lose it, but it meant more to Villa that game, because they needed to stay up. We were preparing for the FA Cup final realistically, and the Brighton game was the biggest. The only real away disappointment, I suppose, Tottenham was, although we were unfortunate to lose that game again, really. But I agree with the fact that we are. I think a lot of teams are going to find that it's going to be 2 or 3 wins followed by two defeats, 2 or 3 wins. I think a lot of the teams are going to find that this season. I think it's going to be difficult for anyone to build up any rhythm. 1, because of a short pre-season. 2, because of the whole transfer situation as well. Some teams have bought a load of players that have got to settle in. Some teams haven't bought anybody yet, or hardly anybody. And I just think it's going to be one of them seasons, actually. So I don't think it's just going to be us that might suffer that. I think a lot of teams are going to be in the same situation, winning a couple, losing a couple, drawing one here and there. And it's going to be hard for anybody, I think, I don't think anybody's going to do a Liverpool this year and run away with it and win the first 25 games, whatever they did.
But also, with was touched on with the transfer window, summer 1 closes October 5th, and by the time your players start to settle, getting the rhythm of things, there's another window, and that's assuming. And again, this is all assuming we don't get another lockdown and the whole season gets come to a pause again.
That's the other side of it, isn't it? At the moment, we don't really know, do we? To me, it's every single day it's looking more and more likely that we're going to have another lockdown as we're heading towards winter, and then the season will be abandoned. And will they ever start again? Will they be able to? I don't know. That's my concern. I mean, I just want us to win our first 5 games, be top of the league, and then
cancel. Then we void the season.
Whoever's top of the league gets, that's it. As long as it ain't Man United or Tottenham.
Mainly Tottenham.
They've won enough. Man United have won enough titles. Come on, they don't need to win it. Let us at least try and catch up a little bit. I mean, we're only about 6 or 7 behind, aren't we? So
we've got 13. They've got 20, so they're 7 ahead. Yeah,
we're 7 behind. So at least let us win 1 to try and get a bit closer, at least. even if it's only a 10
You
game.
guys still need to win the Champions League. That's what you guys really need to.
No, we don't. No. You're underestimating. European football is almost like international football now. Pointless. The only thing that matters is the Premier League.
No, Champions League. Okay. So the Europa League doesn't matter next season.
Well, no, but Europa League, right? What you got to remember is the Champions League should be the champions only in it. The team that's finished top of the league, right? Everybody else should be. The Europa League is the competition for the also.
No, but things changed. That was the original concept, and it got updated. And it's been a great competition since.
So why call it the Champions League then? Why not call it the top 4 league?
It's the Champions Leagues with friends. Like that's what it is. It's like
well, no,
it's what it is.
Is it? It's just the top 4 league. And I don't care if we ever win it or not. It's nice to win any trophy. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to lose any sleep if we never win it. Because
you won't be saying that if Tottenham win it before you. You change your tune then.
Well, they nearly did, didn't they? Last year, they was in the final. I mean, I know we got to a final once, but for me, domestically, every week you're playing 38 games in the season, aren't you? You're playing against the teams that you want to beat. You want to beat them all the time. We're playing Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Tottenham, Everton, Chelsea, all these teams. We're playing them. I really want to beat them. If we play some team from Belarus in the Champions League, I don't care if we beat them or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is beating Chelsea on a Saturday or beating Man United on a Monday night or whatever it is. That's what matters to me, winning them games. If we win in Europe as well, brilliant. Don't get me wrong. But that's not a priority. My priority is what we do on a Saturday or Sunday or whenever we play now, whenever Sky decide to play. But that's what's important over that season. And if we win the domestic cups, to me are more important. I'd rather win the FA Cup, have a run in the FA Cup. That's important. Winning the league's important to me because that's what I grew up with. European football now is just a waste of time, I think, and it just takes up the travel involved. You have to play your games on a Sunday because you can't play on a Saturday because you've travelled somewhere. And I don't know. I don't like it. I just think it's a waste of time. I'd rather concentrate on 38 league games and try and win all of them, or maybe not lose any of them. Maybe do something like that. That could be quite nice.
I completely disagree. I think you've had a bottle of whatever Rose is drinking. That's what I think.
No, I kind of get what this is saying.
We've never got any record in Europe. Right? We've won 2 European trophies ever in our history. We've lost about 4 or 5 different finals, but we've only won 2 European trophies. Man United have won the European Cup when it was a European Cup. It was worth winning. Brilliant. They've won the Champions League a couple of times as well. Liverpool have won it 150 times. They're clubs with European pedigree. So European football probably means more to them clubs because they've got history in it. The European Cup to Liverpool is like the FA Cup to us, like the Premier League is to Man United. This your trophy, if you like. They've got their trophy, as is the FA Cup, yours is the Premier League. Man United have got history in European football, the first English club to win the European Cup, for example, and everything that happened in 68 and stuff like that. And it's part of the club's history, European football. It is with Liverpool. It's not with Arsenal because we've never done very well in it. So I don't really care, personally, for me, as an Arsenal fan, because we never do anything in it. I don't care if we win the Champions League or not because we're not going to win it. We've never really... Look, the last, 6, 7, 8 years we were in it, we never got past the first knockout round, ever. And it's like, well, I'd rather not be in it and not have to go through all that disappointment every year. And it's like every single year we got knocked out of the Champions League and our season finished. We lost the next 5 games in the league, got knocked out of everything because everyone was focused on the Champions League. All the Champions League means is the money. Be in it to get the money. Play the 6 games in the group stage, get the money and get knocked out. And concentrate on what really matters, winning the league or getting in the top 4 or winning the FA Cup or doing something like that. Because we're not going to win the Champions League. We never have done. We're not a club that has ever done well in Europe, ever. I doubt we'll win the Europa League this year. I just don't think we will because Europe and Arsenal don't seem to go. I don't know why. It just never has. So I don't lose any sleep over Europe. If we get knocked out of the Europa League in the first round, I don't care. It'd be nice if we won it. Don't get me wrong. It's a trophy.
Better for your season if you did, to be honest.
Well, it might be.
Domestically.
If we don't finish top 4, and obviously winning the Europa League gets you in the Champions League, brilliant. But I'm hoping we'll be in the top 4 anyway. So then I'd rather finish in the top 4 than win the Europa League and finish 7th, personally. Because if you finish in the top 4, you've had a decent domestic season. You've been consistent over your 38 games. If you win a cup competition, you've done well over 5 or 6 games, 10 games maybe. But to do well in the Premier League, especially now, to get in the top 4 now in this Premier League when there's 8 teams fighting for it, that's a massive achievement. That is, it's better than winning it is better technically, a better achievement than winning a cup that you've only got to play well 3 or 4 times because you get an easy draw here and there. You might only have to raise your game 2 or 3 times. We had to raise our game twice to win the FA Cup and we did. Fantastic. But if we could have done that an extra 10 times in the league, we would have finished in the top 4 and that would have been better season, wouldn't it? Realistically.
Yeah. Daniel, obviously being a Man United fan, I haven't really touched on how you're feeling for the new season ahead. You've got the weekend off because you played the next.
Which enjoy Arsenal losing to Fulham.
Based on playing a game extra in Europe for.
I think we're playing Villa on Saturday evening, friendly match. Really looking forward to that game, by the way. Like really excited, friendly.
Yeah, it means everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. But no, I've got mixed feelings. Not happy with the transfer window. Not because my thinking is short term. It's just, we've needed a player who actually plays on the right hand side of whether you want wingers or forwards for like 7-8 years. If you want to go back to Valencia or since Di Maria left, whichever, go to either one. It doesn't matter. We're talking 7 to 10 years since we've had a player that naturally fits on the right hand side. We still haven't, people saying, there were some people saying we're going to get this, we're confident we're going to get Sancho. Until I see him in a shirt, I just don't believe that. We need a left back. We've been offered players. We don't seem to have our own targets at left back. We just get offered players. We've got like 150 scouts globally, but we need to be offered left backs because we can't find our own.
Is Kia on your books?
Probably, wouldn't surprise me. In the past, Manchester United have actually contacted Football Manager for access to the database. That's a fact.
Oh my God!
What?
That's a fact. Manchester United are suing Football Manager for basically allowing people to use. You can upload the Man United official emblem to the game, and they don't have the rights for it. And what they said was, we don't understand why they're being fussy. I mean, it's happened before, and they've contacted us to use our database. If we had a good relationship with them. But anyway, I'm happy with the signing of Van der Beek. I don't know if you've seen the nonsense from TalkSport about that signing, saying it's a bad signing, Mick Gray and a few others saying it's not a good signing. So it was a fantastic signing. He's a top football player, Champions League proven. But no, he's a top player, intelligent player, has good pedigree. He's got a great education from Ajax. Our midfield's pretty strong. Our defense is actually better than people appreciate. Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, as a centre-back partnership, conceded less than 18 goals in open play last season. No one talks about that. Most of our goals, and that includes David De Gea's 2 horrible errors from David De Gea. So you're talking really like 14 goals in open play in 38 Premier League matches. That's pretty good. We're just horrible at set pieces. That's one of the reasons why we want another centre-back. Like, you should have 2 centre-backs that are good in a year. If one's excellent, fantastic. Like, we always sort of misrepresent the Rio Ferdinand and Vidic relationship. Ferdinand was really, really good in the year. It's just Vidic was otherworldly in the year because he was so aggressive and was a warrior. But I've got mixed feelings about the transfer. Well, no, I haven't got mixed feelings about the transfer window. It's been terrible. Not terrible. It's just not. Up until now, it's been terrible. If we don't get Sancho or a world-class right wing or right forward, it's going to be a disaster. The reason why I do have mixed feelings, though, is because the team that started for us last season, so the 2019-2020 season, that's not the team that finished the season. It's almost like we had 2 seasons split in half. That team that came together post-lockdown wasn't available to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for like 80% of the season. You know? And that's where I think a lot... Exactly. Pogba was out for most of it.
Penalties until after lockdown either, did you?
Sorry?
You didn't get 80% of your penalties until after lockdown either.
Actually, they were spread out evenly throughout the season.
Was they? 20 of them in the last 10 games.
I mean, at one point, you're even found in the defenders and getting penalties. So,
listen. I don't listen. I don't say. You know what? It is what it is. But look, yeah, I've got mixed feelings. I think, that team. So we didn't have Bruno from January. I think Rashford and Martial will benefit from starting the season with a Bruno, with a Pogba, now we've got Van der Beek coming in. So it's a weird one. We'll probably finish third again, but it won't be 66 points. It will be 78 points or 80 points maybe. But what does it matter? We finish third again. And just for me as a Man United fan, that's never good enough. I want to see progress. If we finish third, even if we don't win a trophy, I'm not one of these people. Like, for me, winning an FA Cup or a League Cup is no indication that we're going to win the Premier League in 2 to 3 years. It's just, in that season, we won an FA Cup. Fantastic. We got a trophy. That's great. But for me, I need to see serious progress that we can actually challenge for the title. Because, the next step for us will be to be what Arsenal were when Wenger started to decline, when you get to February, March, you're in the title race, Champions League comes back around, get knocked out of the Champions League, knock-on effect. But we're not even there right now, Manchester United. We're not even at that level. That's what's disappointing. In fact, the Premier League as a whole, I hope it's a lot more competitive this season. To have Liverpool just out in the distance by December is a joke. To have even just a 2-horse race up until December is an absolute joke. It used to be up until February, March, there were 3 teams in it and maybe a 4th. You can imagine an outside chance, maybe, another team coming in. But lately, it's not been very, very competitive.
This is why I've said it for a long time that the Premier League, everyone's saying, "Oh, it's the strongest it's ever been." It's not. It's the weakest it's ever been because it used to be
crap since I want to say since 2012. It's just been a sharp decline. Decline. You can go to 2010 if you want, if you wanted to. We won. Our last title won is Sir Alex Ferguson. We won it. Cleverley and Anderson were our main midfielders that season, and we won the league. Phil Jones and Chris Smalling played a lot of games that year. So pretty much since then. But I think we'll finish in the top 4. But I'm not excited about it. I'm not, I just hope that I want to see what I'm really looking for is actually, I want to see certain players actually just get close to their full potential. Martial now for me needs to elevate a level. Rashford for me, this is a really, really big season for Rashford because he was looking great up until his injury and then post-lockdown was a bit iffy. This season is really, really going to be important for him, especially if we're going to start splashing £100 million on our front line. And we've got Mason Greenwood coming through as well. He could be pushed out. He doesn't step up this season. Pogba has to have his most consistent season for Manchester United as well. Bruno has to prove he's not he's not a January signing, not a one-season wonder, half a season wonder. He needs to prove he can do it over an entire season. If I'm being honest, he struggled playing back-to-back games. I think that's pretty evident to most Manchester United fans. When that schedule's Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, sorry about that. Phone's going off. That's my wife messaging me to come off the stream. Bruno really, really, he struggled with back-to-back games. That's why the Van der Beek signing is really, really important. Fred doesn't have to become anything. We know what he is. I think he'll be okay next season. But like I said again, we'll probably finish 3rd or 4th, even if all of these. Unless we sign Jadon Sancho. If we sign Jadon Sancho, I may be singing a different tune. Get me back on and I'll give you an update.
I was going to say as well, I said, I can still see you guys getting Sancho. I mean, there's almost a month still to go. And also Chelsea as well, because I feel like Chelsea were really inconsistent last year, but with the signings they've made, they'll be up there. And you were saying about the title race being 2, I can see it being 3. If Lampard can get them working. I know Arsenal guys are not going to like that very much, but yeah, I can really see Chelsea up there as well. So I think
the only problem Chelsea have got, they've bought so many players and they've got to gel as a team. It could take them till Christmas, and by that time it could be too late to challenge for the title. I mean, they're obviously going to be in the running for the top 4 again, aren't they? I don't think there's going to be a lot of difference in the teams challenging for the top 4. It's just which 2 are going to get in with Liverpool and Man City. Is it going to be Arsenal, Man United? Is it going to be Chelsea and Man United again? Is it going to be maybe Wolves and Arsenal? Is it going to be Tottenham? It won't be Tottenham, but it could be, but it won't be. So, but I think it's going to be the similar teams again. It's just which order they can finish in.
I tell you what. So I think Wolves. I think Wolves are going to be. I think Wolves will decline this season. I think they're at their limit. I think they're one of those. I think they've done really, really well, but I don't think that you can't just stay at that. That's a weird. Imagine just sitting 7th, 6th. You can't just sit there. You even need to try to progress to get into the top 4 and make signings.
Years, didn't they?
Yeah.
So you can sit there. I mean, I think for a couple like Wolves,
Tottenham would finish 5th, 4th one season, back down to 7th. They'd yo-yo, and they'd make signings to do that. I haven't seen. They've spent £40 million on a striker who hasn't played any
top level.
He hasn't played the Premier League equivalent of Portuguese league yet. Not one league goal in that big competition, and they spent. I think Wolves and Sheffield United.
To be fair, last year Martinelli hadn't played at top level. He came in and hit the ground running, and you never know. But he
did that behind an Aubameyang, a Lacazette, and a Pepe. All the pressures on those guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you. I mean, I don't think we know really too much with Wolves. They've got some very good players. They've had 3 unbelievable seasons when you think with the season before in the Championship when they got promoted. So the progress that they've made, and yes, can they go any further? We don't know, but they've got some of the best players in the Premier League. playing for Wolves, I don't see any reason why they couldn't progress, because I think the league's going to be a lot more competitive this year. I really do. And I think that whoever finished the top 8 from last year, if you look at it, you're looking at that same top 8 this year, just probably a lot of them in a different order, maybe all of them in a different order. But I think it's going to be those 8 teams again, which obviously includes Wolves. Maybe not Sheffield. Sheffield United were just outside in it, weren't they? So,
nice.
But I think the gap, for me, it's that gap. I think the gap between 3rd and wherever Wolves finished, can't remember off the top of my head.
Wolves were 7th. Wolves were 7th.
Yeah,
7th.
that gap, I imagine it's not more than 8 points.
No.
Yeah, I think this season is going to be a lot bigger. It has to be. Like,
No.
as a Man United fan, we can't be finishing 3rd with 66 points again. That's not good enough. It's just not.
It's like Richard said earlier. I think this season, because of there's been no there's no real pre-season. Literally a few weeks, we're back up it again. I think the results are going to be all over the place, as you touched on, Daniel. And in fact, the whole season, assuming we get to finish the whole season this time round, and because I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. Everyone's saying about Liverpool City, and then it's going to be the rest. I think for the teams that finished third to 8th last season, it's all about closing that gap now. So if we can all come together, in our own personal things, close a massive gap, and get between 10 or less points between ourselves and City or whoever's finished second, close that gap massively.
If you look at last season,
but sorry, go on.
No, if you look at last season, all those teams between sort of say 3rd and 8th, right? They all had, apart from Wolves, actually, they all had a really good run and a really bad run through the season, didn't they? Several of each. Wolves were consistent all the way through. They, won a couple, drew a couple, maybe lost one, won a couple more. Everyone else had. I mean, Man United had a great run of results, didn't they? A great load of run of wins. Before that, they'd been a poor run of results. Arsenal were very poor at the start and then put a good run in together. Chelsea were pretty inconsistent all the way through. They just managed to get enough points in the end. Tottenham had a bad run and a good run, and they all seem to be doing that. And I think it's going to be quite similar this year. So I don't think the gap is going to grow, because I don't think that there's any extra difference between them this season. If anything, I think it might even be closer.
But also Wolves, though, I think for them, losing Doherty to Spurs, like he got something like 8 assists or something for Wolves. I don't know who they've got to replace him, but 15 million for me for Doherty is a bargain for Spurs, I think, in my opinion, because Aurier's been in and out. I know they've still got some very good midfielders and Raul Jimenez and all that, but that could be a loss for them too. And also like Leicester with Chilwell, like some of the top players at those clubs have been picked off. So
I've forgotten Leicester even finished in the 8 last year, because they're so insignificant, and I didn't even think they were that good. Actually, no, I'm serious. I mean, they were so lucky last year to finish where they finished, because from Christmas onwards they were dreadful. They got lucky the first half of the season. They put together a decent run of results, and unfortunately, no one else was able to be consistent enough to catch them up. Well, I mean, obviously Chelsea and Man United did, but no one else below them could catch them up, really, and that's it. I think next year they're going to struggle, Leicester. Yeah, losing Chilwell's a blow to them, because he's a good player for them, but I think they were very, very overrated last season anyway. They were given a lot of credit in the media. They were even talked about being in a title race about November time. I remember when they beat us, everyone's going, oh, Leicester in the title race. No, they wasn't. They might have been second in the league. They had absolutely no chance of winning the title. On Match of the Day, Gary Lineker said, oh, we've got more points at this point this season than we had the year we won the league. Yes, mate, but you wasn't looking at the rest of the teams around you. Liverpool and Man City are 10 times better. Do you know what I mean? So Leicester were lucky last year. They won't be as lucky again. Brendan Rodgers might win the sack race, actually. My money might be on him. He'll be one of the favourites to win that, I think. Because I think they'll be struggling bottom half of the table in the first half of the season.
No, I think James Maddison getting injured hurt them post-lockdown. But no, their form post-lockdown was relegation form. It was horrible. But again, Soyuncu's a young player. He should get better. I don't know who they've replaced Chilwell with, but they've got a good scouting network. But again, they're not really, I don't think too much about Leicester, to be honest with
Brendan Rodgers, I don't care anyone says he's not. And people are on about him coming to Arsenal, when... Do
you know what it is? He's one of those British coaches that people want him to do well, because they see him as an equivalent to an Arteta, the intellectual British football coach.
Yeah, he's a nice
and
guy.
they want the English media want a coach. They want their own.
Yeah.
They want that version.
He's just not very good, is he? Unfortunately, as much as everyone loves him, he's just not very good, and that needs to be recognised by the media.
Good coach.
You're a nice guy. You're a decent coach, but you're never gonna achieve anything much in the game, are you? You do all right at clubs like Swansea and stuff like that. Yeah, you'll do really well there. But when it comes to big clubs trying to win things, no, sorry, mate, you're not good enough. And just accept that, and then we're fine. We'll just carry on. It's good.
Obviously, I jumped on late. Rose, how do you feel about James Rodriguez coming?
Really excited. I mean, you know, I think there was this like meme that we have. So our last number 19 was Umar Nias, I think. So like I think was it Sam Allardyce and Umar Nias, and Nias had the 19 shirt, and then they compared it with a photo of Carlo Ancelotti with James Rodriguez, and you have to be excited. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about his injuries and the fact that he struggled at Real Madrid, but I just think he's worked with Carlo twice, you know, at Real and then at Bayern. They know each other really well. And I would love it to work out, because we're lacking creativity in that position for so long, maybe like aside from Sigurdsson, who's like really hot and cold. So really excited. Like, I just think it's, I took a weird angle from it, really. Like, so he gives that, you know, flair, creativity on the pitch, but also he's just massive in Colombia. So like, even on my channel, I've just had like maybe 50 comments from Colombians saying, that's it, we're Everton fans now. So like, it's yeah, he's a massive star, and I didn't think he'd be in an Everton shirt. So honestly, I'm delighted, and I just hope he shows it on the pitch. I was saying that to the guys earlier. You know, I'm excited about the signings, but I just want us to do it on the pitch, because honestly, our record against the top 6 away from home is shocking. And, you know, I can sit here and say I'm really excited, but I'd rather just go and beat Tottenham on Sunday and then say, you know, that's it. Like, you know,
I think we're here. No arguments on here from anybody about that. We all want you to beat Tottenham. Behind Everton beating Tottenham for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be tuning in, don't worry, on Sunday.
Yeah.
Is that the first time Everton ever bought a player from Real Madrid? Has to be.
Yeah, I think so. I think we got Royston Drenthe on loan about 10 years ago, but he just wanted to get women, and like, you know, he wasn't interested in playing. But first signing.
Why did he go to the city of Liverpool then?
Sorry?
Why did he go to
I don't know.
Maybe he's got a thing for blondes. Maybe that's it.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh dear.
But honestly, like, I'm excited about James, but I'm also really excited about Decore, because we've just lacked a presence in midfield as well, and we were talking about that earlier as well. And yeah, and Alan as well, somebody who can actually tackle and win the ball back. So
you might I think, mightn't he? I think he's a red card waiting to happen, isn't he, that Alan?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Not only that, as a Man United fan, I'd love to watch a Merseyside derby and see Everton actually win. Like, in my lifetime, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't. Even when Liverpool are down and you think, right, Everton, this time they're going to beat them, you guys just always come up short for some reason.
No.
So I'm hoping that changes for you guys this season, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched Merseyside derbies. So I've watched Merseyside derbies where Everton have absolutely dominated Liverpool, and out of nowhere, Dirk Kuyt chops the play out of nowhere and goes and scores a winning goal.
Yeah. Honestly, we're so overdue. But anyway, guys, I'm going to have to go there. Thanks for having me on the stream.
Before you go, you want to give the people who you think will be relegated in your top 4 for the season?
Yeah. So got my Everton head on. So for first, I can't say Liverpool are going to win it. So I think City will come back fighting. I know they've lost Sane and David Silva, but they've made a couple of okay signings. So I've honestly put City first. I think some of my subscribers are watching this. If I say Liverpool are they're going to unsubscribe. So City first. I've got Liverpool second. I've gone for Chelsea third, just because I think I can't see their signings not doing well, like Havertz and that. Sorry, guys, I've actually gone United fourth, because I I just think with their midfield, and if Rashford can get going, I think a lot of teams are just going to struggle to stop them, like with Greenwood as well. But I have got Arsenal in 5th. So maybe that one is interchangeable. It could be 4th, could be 5th, not sure. But going down, I've actually got West Ham in 18th because I just think they're in such chaos. I don't know if you saw that thing with Mark Noble where he tweeted about that young prospect who's been sold, like Diang. Fans are unhappy with the owners. They've got the oldest squad in the league. I think West Ham, unfortunately, will probably go down. And then I've got 19th West Brom and then 20th Fulham because they just haven't invested very well. But yeah, I'm sure you guys can debate that once I'm gone. But yeah, those are my top 4 and relegated teams. Thanks for having me. Hopefully be on soon and good luck in your games.
Andrew, okay, as I said,
well, we hope you win about 10-0.
Yeah, about to say, at least 10. That's a bare minimum against Tottenham.
10, Even if it means you're going top of the league ahead of us when we win.
I hope so.
That'll do. I'll be happy with that.
So also, where can people find you?
Take care. Bye.
Okay, go continue on to that. So, Daniel, what will be your relegation and top 4 for next season?
I'll start with relegation. I just want to get out of the way because I don't care about it. In all seriousness, I think Roy Hodgson's time at Palace is up. I'm going to go for Palace to go down. I'm going to go for West Brom to go back down, and joining them, I have Fulham. Easy pick, yeah. So Fulham, Crystal Palace, and West Brom. I think those would be the 3 teams going down. You
think West Ham is just hold on then?
Oh, I forgot about West Ham. Actually, you know what?
As Rose said, they've sold a young player, young prospect. The fans aren't happy. Noble isn't happy. Jack Wilshere, he's even come out and said he ain't.
You know what? If they're probably going to sell Declan Rice as well. You know what? Yeah, West Ham are due to get relegated again, aren't they? History says that.
Everything screams West Ham are going to get relegated again, and it hurts me to say because as people know on this channel, I've got family. I've got a cousin and uncle and granddad that are West Ham fans. And
but I've got a lot of friends that are West Ham fans as well.
It just
Stratford. You know what? I'll swap it then. I'll go West Ham. I just see Palace getting relegated, so I'll go West Ham, Palace, and Fulham. West Brom will find a way. Yeah, I'll go with that. Top 4, City. I'll go with Manchester City finishing first. I think they'll come back stronger. City is a weird one. They still score so many more goals than everybody else. That's not going to change next season. And they'll just they'll want to come back fighting because it's an embarrassing title defense. To be honest, doesn't get spoken about enough. Pep gets away with murder, absolute murder. Everything's all right under the sun when Pep fails. Just ridiculous. So he has to. For me, he has to. If he doesn't win the title or Champions League with City next season, they need to at least have the conversation about whether they should move on, whether they do or not. So I've got City first, Liverpool second, third. I'm going Manchester United because I think people have the wrong view of the Manchester United team because the team that started is not the team that finished, and actually our defense is way better than people. If you just follow social media, you'd think Harry Maguire was the worst defender that's ever played in the Premier League. But actually, no, he's actually a really good defender. Not world class, but he's a really, really good defender.
He's Roy is a good defender. Well, I know that
much. And then 4th, I'm going to go Chelsea because they have to finish in the top 4. Otherwise, Lampard's getting sacked. He might get sacked if he doesn't win the league. You never know with Roman Abramovich. He spent all that money to win the league. He hasn't spent that money for Chelsea to finish 3rd and to be out of the title race by March. He might even get sacked this year. You never know with Roman Abramovich. So I've gone Chelsea 4th, but I actually think if Chelsea or Manchester United, I don't think it's not impossible to me that we could drop the ball this season somehow. I think it's unrealistic, but you never know. If Manchester United or Chelsea drop the ball, I've got to be honest with you guys. I see Tottenham sneaking into the top 4. They'll be the ones if anybody sneaks in. That team is actually still pretty good. Harry Kane will again be in the top 3 for goal scorers. Son is a player that I just love because he's just consistent. He's a one-man band. Doesn't matter what's happening at Tottenham, he just tends to perform. Birdwine, if that's how you pronounce his name, will kick on. Celso will have a breakout season. I just think, I think if I was to compare Arsenal and Tottenham, it's just the midfield area. They've just got a bit more quality than you guys. That's what I think the difference is. And Mourinho, he's not in his third season yet. That's when you need to discount Mourinho, not in his second season. The second season, you usually pull something out of the hat. So, that's my top 4 / top 5.
Okay. What about yourself, Richard, for your relegation and top 4?
Relegation, I think my first choice of relegation is Fulham, unfortunately. I think it's going to be a bit like last time they were in the Premier League. I think they're going to struggle. The team that wins the playoffs generally does anyway. So I'm going to go Fulham. I actually feel that it might be Brighton's year to do a Bournemouth and maybe drop out. I quite like their manager, Graham Potter, but they were quite poor towards the end of the season. Once they had enough points, they knew they were staying up. They've lost a lot of momentum. Sometimes it's difficult to build. So I think they might struggle. I kind of agree with Daniel to a sense about Crystal Palace as well. They're another team that you feel relegation's not far away for them either. I think this year they might be all right just because there seems to be a few worse teams. Obviously, West Ham look as though they could struggle. But I'll go Fulham, Brighton, and probably West Brom, actually. They're a bit of a yo-yo club, aren't they? And I think Villa will be struggling again. I think they might have a little bit too much. If they get Martinez in goal, I think that's going to help them if they sign him. So, so I'll go Brighton, West Brom, and Fulham for me 3 relegated teams, I think, this year. The top 4, obviously, Arsenal are going to be top. I don't think we need to worry too much about that. No, I think obviously it's going to be Liverpool or Man United, isn't Liverpool, Man City, winning the league. I think Man City actually might struggle actually next season a little bit. They have lost 2 important players, as you said, particularly David Silva. He's been key to them last few years. So I think they might struggle to get top form again. Liverpool, I think, are going to not be anywhere near like they were the last couple of seasons. They're not going to get 90 odd points again. But it's going to be between them 2. To be honest, I can't say who's going to win. They're going to be first and second anyway. I don't know in which order. I think third is, I'm going to say Arsenal third, just because I want to be positive about Arsenal. I think if we can sign at least one midfield player, possibly Thomas Partey, then I think third place is going to be possible. I think it's doable. Be difficult, but I think it's possible. And in fourth place is going to be between obviously Chelsea and Man United again. Chelsea have spent a lot of money, but does Lampard really know what he's doing? Not sure if he does defensively. I think Man United are stronger defensively, as Daniel said. Definitely they are, without a shadow of a doubt. They're far better defensively than Chelsea. That could prove to be the difference. Maybe Chelsea can score a lot of goals, but they could have a few 4-3 defeats and stuff like that, I think, along the way. So I'll go Man United in the top 4, but that's only because Daniel's here and I want to make it happen.
Much appreciated. On Lampard, I think he gets away with murder as well. The way he sets that Chelsea team up is so bog standard. Like, they do well attacking because he literally has 8 players ahead of the damn ball all the time. Put 8 players in front of the ball. They're gonna. That's why whenever they give up chances, Chelsea don't concede a lot of chances, but when they do, the quality of the chance they give to the opposition is literally a big chance. And he made no adjustments. He switched to the back 3 for some big games towards the back end of the season. But I don't, now he's got all those players. The pressure's on. The pressure's on for Frank Lampard.
I mean, 56 goals last season they conceded, finished in the top 4. That's never happened before. Conceding 56 goals. So he's basically got to knock 20 goals off that next season if they're going to compete again, because you can't concede 50 odd goals again and get in the top 4. You're not going to do it 2 years running. Absolutely no chance. He's got to knock that down somehow. But he's bought all attacking players. So you can tell what he's going to do. He was an attacking player himself. I know, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was as well, but you can just tell that he's going to throw all his things into attacking, a bit like Wenger did at some points in his career as well. So they're going to score a lot of goals and they're going to concede a lot of goals. And I just don't think you're going to be able to consistently. This year they got in the top 4 because the rest of the league was terrible and they sneaked in on that basis. I don't think that'll happen again. They're going to have to improve defensively. I don't care how many goals they score. They could score 100 goals, but unless they stop conceding as many as they do, like you said, the chances they concede, I think they're going to be their problem. And I don't know if Frank Lampard's got it in him to tactically work that out and do it, because he certainly hasn't had so far. And I know he's still learning, so maybe he'll improve. But to me, that's Chelsea's problem. They'll be exciting to watch. They'll probably be one of the most exciting teams to watch in the league, because I can see them having lots of big scoring games. But I just feel they're going to drop too many points because of their defence, and I think that's going to cost them top four. I think that the best four defences are going to be the top four, which is Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man United, and I think that's where it will be.
Well, it's just, as you touched with Chelsea and Lampard, it's like, and you touched on with that when Wenger went through that period of we needed fixing in defence or midfield, and you just buy the best attacking players you can get. I mean, it was a sort of tactic of you score 5, we'll score 6 sort of ideology. And the thing is, back then it worked to the extent with us because it weren't as competitive as it is now in the league, and also the rivals including Arsenal, we're strengthening. We've strengthened in our defence in the sense of Saliba and Gabriel, and we've got Luis for another year. Even though he's not perfect, but again, experience-wise, we needed someone in there to guide Gabriel and Saliba for this season.
Midfield as well, though, isn't it? That's why we've improved defensively, because we've now got a midfield structure that protects our defence. We didn't before. It doesn't matter necessarily. Yeah, you need some good defenders, but as long as we defend better in midfield, which we have done, then I think our defensive record next year is going to be decent. I think Man United have got that base already. Obviously, we know Liverpool have quite obviously they don't concede any goals hardly at all, do they? Man City did concede too many last year. They've improved with Ake maybe coming in, might improve them. So, Chelsea just have shown nothing to show that their midfield's wide open. They just throw everything forward, and you can't do it in the Premier League. It isn't basketball. You know what I mean? You've got to be able to keep clean sheets and defend, because there's going to be games where your strikers don't score, no matter how good they are, no matter what strikers you've got. There's going to be, when we had Thierry Henry, Robert Pires, all them great players, there were games where we couldn't score. Man United were the same, when Dwight York and Andy Cole and all them were there, Teddy Sheringham, they still had games where you can't score, and that's when your clean sheets get your points, and that's what wins your stuff and gets you up league. And Chelsea, I can't see them keeping many clean sheets. I'll be disappointed if when we play Chelsea twice, if we don't score in both them games, if they keep a clean sheet against us, I'll be disappointed the way that they defend and our attacking. No,
players. But they'll shut it down for you. They won't play the same way, so I wouldn't even be.
We played them at Stamford Bridge. We had 10 men most of that game, and we scored twice with 10 men and got a 2-2 draw. And at the Emirates, they were lucky to beat us actually, because we were all over and we just didn't take our chances, and we gifted them a couple of goals, but. If Chelsea are going to play like that, they didn't shut up against us when, say, we had 10 men against them for 50, 60 minutes, and they didn't shut up shop. They went 2-1 up, 10 minutes to go.
Were they playing with a back three, or were they?
No, they played a back four that night. Actually,
back four. I think it was a back four.
And
when he switches to a back five, he's a bit more. That's basically that's all he's got. I need an extra defender in there because I can't solve it tactically when I play my premium formation, my best formation I want to play. But yeah, I think Chelsea, they'll concede less goals because they'll have games wrapped up within an hour. Like they'll thrash like a West Brom or Fulham, within the first half, and those games they'll be fine. It's against that.
To do that. Yeah, they have got the potential to do
middle third teams that are going to catch them out. Once you start getting into a cycle of back to back games, and I'm listen, that dressing room's going to be that's a new dressing room, and you've got those young boys in there who are going to be like, all these new guys have come in on all this big money, it's going to be a tricky one. It's going to be, and I'm not convinced Lampard is. He loves Mason Mount. Chelsea fans, I think they're going to be doing their not like, why is he starting? We spent all this money. That could happen this season. It's going to be an interesting season. If anybody drops the ball in the top four, it's going to be Chelsea.
I definitely agree. Yeah. That's the team. Just because they can't defend well enough. And we know to our cost over the last few years, if you concede 50 odd goals in the league and you're going to struggle to finish in the top four. Chelsea managed it last year through other teams basically blowing it, such as Leicester, who were in a great position at one point. And you're not going to concede 50 goals and get in the top four. You're not going to be able to do it. And that's why Chelsea are one, unless they massively improve their defensive record, which I can't see any sort of anything to suggest that they will significantly improve that. Whereas all the other teams, I think, challenging for the top four are going to be improving defensively and have improved defensively. And I think that's where it's going to be decided. So, Chelsea would be the team for me that might drop out. And it might mean Frank Lampard does get sacked. And that would be a shame, wouldn't it?
Oh, no, what a shame. The media love it getting sacked. But yeah,
the media get sacked, will they? Because they'll be so, even if he's under pressure, they'll be bigging him up every single day in the press, and it might make the owner rather of Chelsea believe that he's better than what he is because the press will keep bigging him up all the time. But I think reality is going to hit home, and hopefully that'll be the case, because I mean he's not. I don't think he'll probably end up being the next England manager actually, because that's how rubbish he is.
Yeah. Southgate.
He'll get sacked from Chelsea for getting him out of the top 4, and then he'll get the England job when Gareth Southgate gets sacked.
You know what? I like being on the stream with guys who are either my age or someone that's older. Let's take our minds back to Gareth Southgate when he was managing Middlesbrough. Just take your minds back to that time.
Been here,
He will be the England manager. 15 years from now. Just imagine the response to that.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the situation we're in now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. For me, my bottom three, I think it's slightly changed from when I did it. I think Palace will go. I think Palace will go because we've got a player in Zaha who doesn't want to be there. He's trying to force him to move out of there. And I haven't really. They brought what's his name, Batshuayi in as a loan, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
He's rubbish anyway, isn't he? Really, not that
exactly.
Great.
I'm pretty sure their centre backs are getting old.
They've got that very aging squad itself, and they're not
midfield is.
They don't score enough goals, Crystal Palace. They just don't score enough goals, do they?
That's what I'm saying. The signings that they're making this summer so far haven't been inspiring. So Palace fans must be shitting themselves because it's an Asian squad. The players aren't, getting you excited for a season basically. And also, I think, as I said before, I think West Ham going to go. Initially I didn't have them in my bottom three, but I think they're going to go. The way everything we're seeing and hearing from not just the media, but from the players themselves on their own platforms over what's happened recently.
Yeah, they've had a training.
They lost their soul as soon as they moved to that Stratford Stadium. That was it.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to prove they can't be West Ham fans, Golden Sullivan, but they don't care. All they care about is holding out till 2023 when they can actually walk away and make some money out of it without being because apparently the contract about this stadium, they can't walk away from the club until then, because if they do, the Stratford Council go after them and say, well, you just made that, you just come in to make the money sort of thing, and then all that crap. So West Ham are in for a long couple of years still. But I think this is the year. It's just everything screaming as it stands. They're going to get relegated. There's rumours that David Moyes might even walk away by Sunday, or whenever they do play this. I think they play because the game's been moved again this weekend against Newcastle.
That's Saturday night, 8:00, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's all that talk, but everything's screaming that they're going to go. And I also think Fulham. I was just thinking again, it's going to be another year. Like Richard said, it's going to be the same as what they were last time. They haven't got the players again aren't inspiring to say they're going to make a fight. It's just random players just to bulk the squad out a bit.
I think they'll be a little bit more solid this time. I think Scott Parker will have them a bit more organised, but I just don't think they've got enough quality to stay up. I just don't think they have. I like Fulham, a nice club, but I don't think.
And also, they're relying on goals coming from Mitrovic again, which again didn't work out last time, and they haven't learned. It just seems they haven't learned from that. They've gone down, obviously come up by hooker by a crook, but they haven't got out of the way to add a striker to put pressure on Mitrovic or be ahead of him and get some goals, because that's what's going to come down to, goals. And Fulham squad does not scream goals to me. Top four wise, I think first and second is obviously, I think it will still be between Liverpool and City, but it'll still be. I think the gap won't be as big as it has been in the last few years. It'll be a lot closer. As I said earlier, I think it'll be a few points between them and them two, who will finish first and second, and literally 5 or 10 points between second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. It'll be that close, I think, compared to what was it, 20, 30 points it was. Well, even I think that's 30 odd points it was this season between second and third alone. Third, if Arsenal sign either Partey or Oyer from Lyon, I think we can make a fight of third, like Richard said. But if we don't, I think it could be a scrap for fourth, and I think never spot will go down to United. Chelsea, I think, as we touched on, they've spent all this money in attack, done an Arsenal thing from years ago, all the money in attack, bought a left back in Chilwell's Premier League experience, fair enough. But then Thiago Silva, for a year, even that's for a year, and they're going, oh, it's a fantastic signing. This is a fast.
They're saying that based on, that's all on reputation. He wasn't the best. He's not even the second best PSG centre back when he left.
We just signed William's best player from last season anyway.
Well, going by the stats from Ligue 1, we've got 2 of the top 3 centre backs from Ligue 1.
I wanted Gabriel, by the way. I think at that price, it's a fantastic gamble. Honestly,
and also,
looks a good prospect.
Yeah, and as Richard touched on in previous shows, we finally got 2 centre backs that are units in the defence that look solid, and they've got that potential. They're young, so they've got that longevity. And I think that another reason why, again, David Luiz they got David Luiz to sign an extension. There's an experienced head in that defence, even on the training pitch, that teaches them and eases them into how the league is, and this, that, and the other. And you can't go wrong there. And then Thiago Silva, and they think that's going to solve their problems. And there's some goalkeeper from Rennes who's only played a season at top level. Where's
he's going to be better than Kepa. I'd like.
Or anything again. You say that anything's got to be better than Kepa, surely. But yeah, I think all the pressure's on Frank. I think if they're not in a title race by mid around the Christmas period, if they're not in the title race and comfortable in that title race, he could be on the chopping block come January. I think if he's struggling to get into top 4 with that attack itself, he's in a lot of trouble, because we know what we've seen over the years.
That's the thing. I can't wait. I think Chelsea are going to start with a bang.
Yeah. I think they will.
They're going to fall off a cliff.
It's going to be very
games, haven't they, early on? Now they're playing Liverpool, aren't they? Man City, I think early on they got some tough games at the start of the season. So.
Yeah, it's very Leicester. It'll be very Leicester, like, as you said, they'll start off with a bang and then they'll just drop off a cliff. And even if that happens, they wait till the end of the season, then you'll be sacked. Because
top 4, I think if they've got to get top 4 with the money they spend,
they've got to top 4 and they've got to win something. But I don't think they will. I think they're going to literally finish 5th by the skin of their teeth. Because of the defensive failures, that's the one thing they're not improved on. And
Chilwell changes nothing because Lampard has his fullbacks playing like wingers for most of the game.
Exactly, and
nothing changes there.
The shape, not so much the players; it's the shape that they play, the formation that they play. They're far too attacking, and that's as nice as that is in theory. In the Premier League now, it just doesn't work. You're never going to not concede you're going to concede too many goals playing like that. You are even against some of the weaker teams will score, and it happened last year, didn't it? Even some of the teams who got relegated scored a lot of goals against Chelsea, and that's what's going to keep happening.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to stop wrapping things up. Richard, where can people find you on your new YouTube channel on the verge of 100 as well?
Yeah, I've got my new YouTube channel over and over and over again. I'm trying to keep it a little bit different. Some historical things about the club. Obviously, stuff that's going on at the moment, transfers and obviously matches and stuff like that. There's been a preview of the Fulham game, all that kind of stuff. So it's just some good Arsenal stuff. I'm trying to keep it positive as well. So I'm trying to steer away from all the negativity that there is around Arsenal. So, on my channel, you might hear Arsenal are going to win the league and stuff like this and win the Champions League even though I'm not bothered myself. But you're going to hear stuff like that on my channel because I'm trying to keep it positive and all the negativity can go elsewhere. And I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care if we finish 10th in the league and I'm wrong. I want to be positive. Well, I'm going to stay positive all the way as long as I can. And at the moment, we're level on points with the leaders. So we're also level on points with the team at the bottom as well, but we won't worry about that. We're level on points with the top of the league. In fact, we're top of the league alphabetically.
For once.
And if we don't lose tomorrow's lunchtime game, we'll actually be top of the league as well. So let's enjoy that. So, yes, over and over and over again on YouTube. So, yeah, if you want some Arsenal positivity and some Arsenal history and stuff like that, pop over to there. And there's always stuff going on. So that would be good. I'm near 100 subscribers as well. I think I was 3 away tonight. So if I can get, what I said on my channel today was, if I get to 100 before the kickoff tomorrow, not only will we beat Fulham, but we'll have a great season. So if that isn't the case, if I'm still below 100 at 12:30 tomorrow and we lose to Fulham, it's your fault for not subscribing to my channel and letting me get to 100. So I'm just putting it out there so you know. That's all you've got to do. And then we get to 100 and we'll definitely win. and we'll definitely have a good season. Otherwise, it's on you. And if we do crap and we lose every game and get relegated, it's because you didn't get me to 100 by tomorrow.
I'm going to subscribe, and just before
You-
kick off, unsubscribe.
You want us to be as well? That's good. I'm glad. That's just good.
Literally, Isabel's about to be kicked on sub 99. Okay.
Yeah, well, not enough, is it? Not enough.
And Daniel, where can people find you as well?
You can find me on Twitter because, there's no point going to my YouTube channel. I'm not going to lie to you. I just don't put any content on it. But if you find me on Twitter, I'm always down for a good debate with a reasonable football fan. I'm a reasonable Manchester United fan. I've got no time for just silliness, and Twitter just does my nutting sometimes. But you can find good people to football debates with. That's why I like coming on here. That's what I do on Twitter. Just like to talk to people, have good football debates, reasonable debates. You can put our teams against each other, but I'm not going to say Arteta's crap. I'm only going to show Solskjaer's a genius when actually they're both still novices learning the game. I'm a reasonable Man United fan. So, you can find me on Twitter at Devil Details MU.
Okay, and obviously yourself, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Arsenal89. And tomorrow I'm doing 2 streams tomorrow. Obviously the Arsenal 2 watch-alongs, Fulham v Arsenal, and then obviously Liverpool v Leeds. See if Leeds can come back with a bang and upset the odds. But so going live for the Fulham v Arsenal game at 12:10, about 20 minutes before kickoff. Richard, are you around for that, by the way?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing football, so I'll probably be back a bit later than that. I should be back by. So I'll jump on once I'm back. Hopefully it'll be before 12 with a bit of luck.
Yeah, and obviously you can find me on Facebook, on my Facebook page, probably called the Mr. Arsenal Podcast, which again I'll be streaming off that as well throughout the season, including watch-alongs. And on here, if you're on the channel as we speak, and you've liked what you've seen tonight and what I'm going to do going forward, do
smash
subscribe.
that like button, subscribe, share the video.
And a quick little thing to Mr. Marco 87. He asked me about my thoughts on Lee Gunner. If you want me to do a video on my thoughts on that, we get 20 likes on this video. I'll at some point put together a live stream where I'll come on and I'll vent out because there's no love lost between me and him. And I'll put the world to rights and how I'm being positive. He's a negative. You know what? Just to make some money out of the club, basically.
He's the one, isn't he, that said I was part of the problem. I'm not sure what problem I'm part of, but anyway, he also said that we shouldn't be happy with top 4. I'd like to know what Michael 87 thinks is reasonable to expect from Arsenal this season. When we finished 8th last season, I think the top 4. We should be happy with the top 4 if we get there because of where we've been the last 4 years. I don't know where he's been the last 4 years, clearly somewhere else on a different planet because we're not a top 4 team. We haven't been for a long time. So if we get the top 4, yes, I will be happy. And I think every Arsenal fan should be happy if we get the top 4 this year. I think we can, and that's good. But please let me know what you think is a reasonable assumption for the season for you. What do you think we can do this season? Because if you think we're going to be challenging for the title, then I know I'm trying to be positive, but that's just mental, really. Come on.
Exactly.
And if you think Arsenal all of a sudden are just going to start splashing money, you didn't go crazy when you was in the Champions League. Why would you do it now?
Exactly.
As a football fan, sometimes you just need to. Do you know what it is? It's like you have to. It's like if you've got a mate, everyone has that friend that nobody else likes, right? You like him, but no one else likes him, and you know why. It's that type of relationship with your football club. I know what my owners are like. So do I scream every day because they're not being Roman Abramovich? We'd all love Roman Abramovich, but it's not going to happen. You know your owners. You know how your club's operated. You want it to improve, but you can't. You have to be positive sometimes, or at least just temper your expectations based on the cards that you're dealt with. We're owned by the Glazers. Manchester United are run like a Fortune 500 company, not a football club, and that's what we have to put up with. But we just try to stay positive through it all.
He's just got to look who runs all transfers. Fucking Greenwood, whatever his name is.
Oh, Woodward, because it just tells you the football club that our owners. Well, he makes us money, Woodward, so we're going to let him keep running the football club. Trophy thing. Oh, trophies are great if we can get them, but as long as this guy keeps, expanding our commercial department with with some noodle company in Japan, like fantastic.
Oh dear, Richard, Dabbing and Hemp is asking if you can put a link in the chat box so they can't find you apparently.
It just tells you the football.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look then. See what then.
And then once you've done that,
I've got to go, guys. Thanks for having me on as always, Ryan.
Yeah, no worries.
Hopefully we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a pleasure chatting, mate.
You too. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Right.
Cheers, Ian. Yeah, see if I can do that then. Put a link on to the channel.
Oh, dear.
Let's have a look.
If I can find it, one sec. If you bear with me.
I don't know if I've got a proper link for it, actually.
I'll just have a look myself, one sec.
I'm not sure if it... I know it's quite difficult to find on YouTube, actually. I need to sort that out because
Yeah, I think
it doesn't come up when you search, and I've got a link sometimes that you click on it and it says it's like on me Twitter page. There's a link that I copy off the channel, but for some reason when you click on it, it doesn't work. I don't know why. So that could be the problem. But obviously that's stopping me getting to 100, isn't it? Because if people can't find it, they're not going to be able to subscribe, are they?
exactly. I'm trying to find it now. One sec. You're a pain in the backside, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If you bear with us, dubbing him, I'll put it in the comments afterwards. Once I come off this, I'll go off and go and get it. And I'm off my phone and I'll put it in. See if I can do it now, actually. Bear with me on my phone. Turn that tab off.
I don't know whether it's working. No,
I'm trying to think. Have you done a video today?
I've done a video today, yeah.
I was going to find that, one sec. Yeah, I think it's something because of something to do with obviously being new and all that. You've got to get more. I had the same problem when I started out.
Yeah, I know it's been difficult to find. I say I've got a link I put on Twitter, and every time you go to it for some reason, it says the link's not working. I don't know why, but anyway, the video themselves work. It's just trying to find a link, a usable link.
Just getting a link up now. I'm going to put it into the chat from my phone. Hopefully it works. Touch wood. And that's, as I sent it, so it'll be up on the screen now in about 2 seconds. Now that works and everything up, we'll obviously sign off then. Just get Opera Star Singers.
Oh, yeah, there it is, yeah.
And that's the link, but it's obviously, it should work if you're in the chat. If not, I'll put it in the comments box afterwards, and it'll work. It'll work from there. Just let us know quickly.
I think it works in the chat. Yeah, I think it works in the chat on the thing. Yeah, that's good. Yes, I mean, yeah. If you want to subscribe, that'd be brilliant. That'll get me to 98. So I just need 2 more before half 12, and we're guaranteed to win then, aren't we? So it'll be happy days.
Exactly. Yeah. So when it comes to the Arsenal watching, obviously you're coming on. I've got Marvin, Sam, and Colin from Much Arsenal as well.
Okay, I mean, I should be in before kickoff, but because I say I'm normally back from football about sort of 12:15, so probably just quickly jump in the shower and then be ready to go. So yeah, I should make the kickoff hopefully because I want to make the kickoff anyway.
Exactly, yeah. But apparently, it's worked. So that's great. So go and subscribe to him, and then anyone else, literally just go over. I'll be putting
subscribing. Thank you very much. 98.
I'll be putting the link in the comments box in about 5 minutes, and then just go and follow that and subscribe. Get him over to 100, and push him on to 200. Then
let's get to 100 first. Let's not get too excited. 100 will do me for now. Before half 12 tomorrow.
Exactly. And as I said earlier, if you like what you've seen tonight and you like the idea of what I'm going to be doing to watch alongs, like just Arsenal one, but the neutral every now and then with like Liverpool leads and things like that, do subscribe. Smash the like button as well. And as I said, if anyone wants me to do, I don't particularly care, but if you want me to do a stream talking about my thoughts on League Gunner, 20 likes, get me 20 likes, and then I'll be a man of my word. And I'll set up on my own at some point during the week, and we'll sort that out. Put the world's rights there. And that's only if I get 20 likes, though. Otherwise, it's I just like he just does my head in. He's too negative, way too negative. He wants everything done like that. It's like he try reason with the guy.
Honestly, right, I believe this to be true. I don't believe that he means half the stuff he says. He says it to get attention, which is fair enough. He earns a lot of money doing it, doesn't he? At the end of the day, that's why he says it. So I don't believe after things he says. I don't believe that he believes that really. It's an opinion to get likes and to get traffic to his channel, to get people talking about him, which is what we're doing, unfortunately. But you know, I personally find that quite disturbing that somebody wants to make money off being negative about the club they came to support, dragging the name through constantly. To me, I don't like that. That's just my opinion. He's entitled to do what he wants to do, and if he feels happy doing that, then that's fine. And at the end of the day, he's earned a lot of money doing it, hasn't he? So you know, each to their own, I guess. But it's not for me. That's what I want to do. I'd rather nobody watch my channel, and I'd be positive about the club I loved and
honest,
purposely negative. And honest, rather than purposely be negative just to get people to draw attention to the channel, as other channels have done, unfortunately, and as we know, a big one in particular has made money from it as well. So, but that's everyone's got their own choice, haven't they? I personally don't want to do that, but you know, he's making money from it, so why wouldn't he? I guess maybe that's his argument, and fair enough. But as long as people try to understand, don't take him seriously. I'm sure he doesn't mean half of that stuff. Generally, he can't do, because it's ridiculous. Nobody has opinions like that. Not really, not unless they're joking. But he comes across as very serious with them. That's his. Maybe that's all part of the act. That's all part of the show, and let's accept it for what it is. Because you know, I don't honestly believe he can be that much of an idiot. Honestly, I don't. I don't think anybody can be. I think it's part of what he needs to do to earn his living. You know, and I guess that if nothing else, you know, you should be able to respect that part of it. I just don't agree with dragging Arsenal's name down to do that. That's not right. I'd be quite happy to do that for Tottenham, drag Tottenham's name down and make money. But there you go.
We're referring to Lee Gunner, because Mr. Michael 87 asked earlier our thoughts on him, and I said, and I'm just saying, I just think this really to show that go into it all. So if you want me to do something like that, 20 likes, I'll set up a stream some point during the week, and I'll go into it all in the history that me and him have. And if
it'll be a long show, that won't it?
The reason I've got a gripe, more so of a gripe with him personally, is because back end of January, after like 6 league games, he was putting out negative stuff towards Arteta, and I said, why can't you just give the guy a chance? And also, I was pointing out the flaws in this image he put out, which is like a league table with 20 managers, including 19 other managers, including Arteta. After 6 league games, how many points they've accumulated, this, that, and the other. And he's like, I'll trust the process and all that crap. And I was like, well, hang on. George Graham has the same, after 6 games, had the same amount of points. Look what you went on to achieve. Arsene Wenger had 2 extra points at that same stage. And look what he went on to achieve in the early years. And the two managers that are like second and third, Bruce Rioch and Unai Emery, respectively, were second and third. And look what happened there. So the 6 games is the first 6 games of any club is. Any manager means nothing. It's the longevity, what goes on afterwards.
You've got to remember what he came into as well, what Arteta came into compared to what Unai Emery came into. Yeah. You know, the difference, and obviously what have come into, and what Arteta had to work with at the beginning, and he's turned it around, hasn't he? So there's no doubt about that. That's what he's done. And I think that anybody can see that quite clearly, that he's improved what we had. He's improved us from a point where, say, in December, who would have thought we could win the FA Cup? Who would have thought we would be able to beat Liverpool and Man City and Chelsea and Man United all on the bounce, in consecutive times that we played against them all? Who would have thought we would be able to do that in December? Nobody. And Arteta has done that. So he's got to be given credit for that. And anybody that doesn't want to give him credit for that, to me, either is being purposely controversial or just does not understand anything about football at all. Because it's quite clear anyway. Even people who don't support Arsenal can see the improvements Arteta's made with no new players. Essentially, he hasn't. It's been the same squad of players because, like you said, the new players got injured and hardly played. So he's had the same players. And look at the different. Yeah, okay, you could say, well, we still finished 8th. We were maybe 9th, whenever it was when he joined. We haven't improved much in terms of league position, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the improvements he's made to every single individual player, the improvements he's made to the structure of the team defensively, and the fact that we won a trophy and we. We're competitive against the big teams. And to me, that's a massive improvement. And if we continue to improve along those lines, the next 2 or 3 years are going to be fantastic, aren't they?
Just going back to obviously the gripe, because basically when I was putting all this stuff out to him, his then response was not having a regional debate about it. It was then ending the conversation with "F off, Ryan, you don't know what you're talking about," and mocking mental health and people that have disabilities, basically. And I'm like, that was it. That's how he tried to win his argument. And when he realised he'd messed up, he tried deleting it. But by then, I'm getting like five or 10 different people DMing me screenshots of it, and I'm just like, and then a few months fast forward a few months later, he's saying that at the same time he'd been working with someone to help people with mental health, and I'm just like, but you're historically known in recent months for mocking it. It just does. Again, it just comes, as you said, it's worrying that people act like that, and someone like him would act like that, knowing he's got such a big platform that everyone knows everything that he does. Basically, he does. This is also a guy that afterwards then went on the attack of a 19-year-old boy just because the kid forgot that he didn't press the mute button, and then because he forgot about that, it then outed Lee for saying something after a Europa League final defeat about profiting off what £200 he made on that doing that stream for a Robbie, and I'm just like, well, yeah, okay, you maybe forgot, but he didn't fucking point a gun to your head. This kid didn't go, you've got to say this, read it off the paper, read it now. He said it's his own words. No one baited him, no one outed him. It was a genuine mistake, and you've gone on an attack. A year and a half later, decided to publicly try and bully this kid to the point he's had to walk away from that channel and do his own thing now.
Yeah.
Again, things like that don't sit well with me. You're a man in your 40s, for fuck's sake. Grow up.
I just don't understand. At the end of the day, like, I don't know the guy. I've just seen a few of his clips on YouTube. I don't follow him because I don't like negativity, but that's everyone's choice. He's got a lot of people that do follow him. I don't know him. I don't know if he is genuine or if he's just doing this for his business, if you like. I don't know if that's what he does it for. If that is, then to me, it's not a great way to make money if you're an Arsenal fan. But, I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of the things I've seen him say and a lot of the stuff that I've seen. Yeah. But
I don't follow him. I don't follow him either. The only reason I know what he says and does now is because there's people that follow me that do follow him and retweet stuff that he does. And it's like,
that's how I.
And the last week or so, I'm seeing it every time I go on my phone or whatever to go and check DMs and this, that, the other one, setting things like this up. And it's like right in my face. I'm just like, he's saying this. It's a repetitive thing. It's just like, please stop going on. Stop complaining. Not everything doesn't get fixed at the click of a fingers. Things take time, especially when every club in the world is in a month of a pandemic. So things are a lot harder. It doesn't help when half our players, our deadwood players that you say, won't take a fucking pay cut and piss off. So let's make it even harder. But it is what it is. Anyway, as I said, you want a full video on that. I'm counting on 12 likes. If we get 8 more likes, that's 20. And then I'll do that. But until then, I'll keep everything to myself now. And
maybe invite him on and have a debate on the channel. That'd be good. That'd get 1,000 likes. That.
Well, fucking that would get attraction. Bloody hell. Would I get? Assuming I'd have to get someone else on to be a neutral, so we say.
Well,
just to be
maybe.
Yeah. Just to host it.
That'd be a good show, That'd be a good show. I mean, Sky might cover that as well.
he would jump on it then. He would definitely jump. Oh, Sky. Yes. Money.
Yeah. I bet Sky might want to cover that. That'd be good. That'd be a good show. You have to get him on. See if he's got the bollocks to come on and actually do a show.
Well, this is the thing. Back up over a year ago when I started out, well over a year ago now. When I didn't have no issue with him and what he was doing and whatever, I was doing my own thing, getting on with it. I invited him when he said, "Oh yeah, at some point during the summer," and nothing ever emerged. But I think now with everything kicking off, as you said, does he have the balls now to come on when things are as heated as they are? Would he have the balls?
You never know.
To answer these questions, and
it might be a good opportunity for you to, have a discussion with him, and you might be able to sort out a few of your differences. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's not as unreasonable as everybody thinks. He's a human being at the end of the day, and I'm sure most of it's just a front anyway. It's not real. So if he comes on, maybe he's got an opportunity, and it might be a good thing to do. Maybe. might be worth thinking about. I think that'd be a good show. Actually,
Yeah.
I think you get a lot of views anyway.
With again, people want that as well. Put it in the comment box. Say it in the comment box, and then I'll reach out. That's all I can do. If I can, I'll reach out to him. I'll even prove it on here. I've reached out. And if he doesn't get back to me or declines it, then that's down to him.
Personally, I think that'd be a great show. I do. I think that'd be really, really good. I think it'd be worth doing as well, because I think it'd be an opportunity for you both to maybe get these grievances put across to each other and talk about them and sort them out maybe and come to some sort of amnesty or whatever you want to call it. It might be an opportunity to do that, but see what happens. I think it'd be a good show. I mean, I think that'd be a good show to try to get organised if he wants to do it, if he's willing to come on and do it.
And also before we've obviously I was talking about 10 minutes ago, rambled on about that. But as I said, if you want that, put it in the comments. As I said, I'll then reach out, do what I've got to do. If he accepts, he accepts. I'll show it to you and we'll organise it all. But then at the same time, to be fair, I will find someone that can be the host on the channel for the night and be the go-between basically and take control. Because otherwise, if it's just me and him, it's going to be back and forth shouting and screaming, and that's not on for anyone.
Someone else in there, definitely.
Yeah. Also, Charlie's Football News. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do subscribe and hit the like button. As I said, I'll repeat it again now. I'm doing 2 watch-alongs tomorrow. Obviously, the first game of the season. The mighty Arsenal taking on Fulham away at Craven Cottage with fantastic guests, and Richard being one of them. And then doing Liverpool versus Leeds later on in the evening. And then we're going to go from that, basically. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Richard, thanks again for coming on. And a big shout-out to Rose and Daniel as well. Both hopefully they have a good season themselves.
But not as good as us.
This season. Obviously not as good as us, but got
a good season for we should be below us.
Yeah, better than Tottenham. Oh dear. But enjoy the rest of the evening. And we'll see you bright and early, 10 past 12 when we go live tomorrow for that. Obviously 12:30 kickoff, so double shift with me tomorrow. And I hope you all come along to enjoy the show. And we're going to be talking a lot of things concerning Arsenal as well, including the Martinez situation, which why reports going out tonight could be a very interesting debate to have at the start of the stream. So until then, guys, as always, up the Arsenal.
Come on, you Gunners.